Again and again and again, Chelsea trashing their opponents 4-2. Chelsea were disappointed they conceded 2 goals, but that game ended 4-2 in the conference the way they play Gent in the Conference League yesterday. Okay guys, if you look at Chelsea, this is Maresca's in quote second team. But this second team is cooking, even though their opponent in this Europa Conference League is not quite a big team like that. But he has built a team that, especially in the Stamford Bridge, that they go and score multiple goals. This game they got 4 goals. The other game they got 6. Against Brighton they got 4. Against Wolves they scored 6. So he has turned this team around to be a scoring machine. They have scored a whole lot of goals. But if you look at that game against Conference, in the Conference League, do you think that they can go all the way, that the favourites for this particular competition?
I think calling them favourites would be a long shot. They are in the shout or in the running, as they would say over in England or in Scotsland. But for me, I think he has a team now. You can't take that away from him. He has a team. They have an identity. They have a playing pattern. They have a couple of star players in the side. And you have a better work performance, work rate than we see somewhere up north in England right now. And that is saying a whole lot. And the fact that he didn't wait up to 3 years to get it done, he's gotten it done in just a couple of months. So yes, you have to give him his flowers for that.
That he didn't wait up to 3 years, calling another team that knows how to give
I didn't
time.
mention anybody's name.
Nobody mentioned
Why
time
do you have to be so petty?
even in the same London,
Why do you have to be petty
even in the same London,
now?
there's a team that has a manager for more than 4 years now, and we're just seeing play pattern. You understand? I understand what you're trying to say. I get your point, but let's not forget that no manager in Chelsea history has come in the first season and relaxed. Name me one except for Frank Lampard. There's none. Every manager in Chelsea history, from Mourinho, let's start from the Abramovich era, from 2004, 2003 till present day, every manager from the Chelsea club comes in, first season you touch something. You bring a trophy home, first season.
That's because the expectation is just that they should win something.
What if
there's
this man now joined the queue?
And now there's also the ability to match those expectations, because you are not coming in.
Last week you didn't see anything.
No, who says?
Now
only Pochettino no touch something now.
The one they sacked and brought Potter, no see anything.
See, Graham Potter came in, took
Pochettino, nothing.
Took over from now the two, and only 2 of them. And what's happen?
Lampard did something.
Lampard no see. Lampard, the only time when Lampard supposed to see na FA Cup against Arsenal, because he not reach Europa League final. He can't leave for Arsenal to win. We Arsenal used qualify for Champions League. I'm sorry, Europa League the next season. Lampard no say anything. They come sack and bring in this man. We go use the same team where Lampard arrange carry Champions League. So the thing is, all the managers Chelsea has brought in, all aside from first season, even Lampard first season, he still do better work. You will see results on the pitch. So let's not.
Maresca is cooking.
Maresca, the food go burn.
Maresca is cooking. There's nothing we will say. See, Chelsea is not a certain club I do not want to mention. But also, you want me to go there? I have said no. Chelsea is not that club that they have fork in their icon. They have this one using eating it. They don't have that thing in their icon. Chelsea is a club that values trophies, winning, and that's the mentality and expectations. Coming to Chelsea, you are not expected to use 3 years. You're not expected to use 1 year. You're expected to hit the ground running. So when you know where you are, they say that even when a chicken goes into somewhere you don't know, you go use one leg first pet before you bring the second one down. So Enzo Maresca knew what he's working himself into. In 1 year, if no result, no nothing, he's out. He's aware. Even though he has a long contract, longer than some of the other managers that Chelsea have hired, but then he's coming, he's implemented, and he's doing well. And you can see that nobody has rested since coming into Chelsea, but I'm telling you that Enzo Maresca has earned the right to rest for at least 2 seasons.
If you look at that game, when you talk about Maresca, I won't call him a young coach, but he coaches championships. We talked about it in this show, even off camera, that when you get a big club, you have one chance to impress. Most times, once you fail with that big job, you hardly get another big job.
Yes. That's
the problem. But Maresca is actually taking this job seriously. That's why he came out. Probably he has seen the situation around. He came out from the first day he took over. He started removing players he didn't want. He started early. Didn't want to test. Let's test. and see
Straight
if
up.
this one will work. He started removing players, but if you look at that game, them winning that game scoring 4 goals, and this is not even in quotes their first team players. Do you think that
this is the team that
they
he
can do
submitted
well?
the list for?
Yes.
It's not first team. First team. See, I remember some time ago, a team has this team, A team, B team, C team. You get, each competition has its own team because you want to protect your players. There's many matches to play.
And you are playing small clubs now. Why would you be playing?
So why would you be
Parma
and the rest of them? You need to protect your players. So you need to align yourself with the squad list you're submitted for each competition until the next transfer window. So you can protect the players you have. You have 50 players in your side, no problem. Well, you've already said you have 21 to work with. What if 10 of that 21 goes on serious injury, and the people that goes on that injury are the ones you really need to survive the season with? So he submitted a team list for this game, and the team was good because Nkuku has been playing in the Premier League. Nkuku is in the Premier League, but he
starts in this conference league.
He starts in the conference league, but in the Premier League he gets only 30 minutes of playtime, and he scores goals. You get, it's not that he plays 30 minutes of playtime and doesn't score goals. He comes in 30 minutes into the game, he scores goals. You get, so he's a player that you know that this is what he is for. Though he knows he has a competition in Jackson up front in the Premier League, but whenever he's given the opportunity, he plays well and he scores. In the Carabao Cup, he plays well and he scores. In the FA Cup, when he starts now, he will play well and he will score goals. He has a team that could compete. This is what they say, mentality. When you take off one player and you look at the bench, you have another player that could come in and seal that position without fighting. As in, you know that when the first team, like I said about the Aston Villa side, if Oli Watkins is not functioning up front, and he knows that if John Duran functions from the bench for 5-6 straight matches, one of these days John Duran will put him on the bench. What happens? He will sit up. That is what competition for places can bring to a team. When a team does not have competition for places, players will become complacent. And even me, if speak that English, now,
like Bruno can do anything he wants at Man United, and nobody will drop him.
Now, the thing is, even the same thing goes for every other team in Premier League. For what's it called now? For Newcastle, Greenwich can do anyhow. They don't go bench him. Tonali now, because he's back. He can do anyhow. Nobody can replace him. You want to use long staff to replace Tonali. It's not go possible. In Aston Villa, the same thing goes. If Telemans do anyhow, Mbwendi are there. So squad depth is not just about having numbers. You get, it's about having quality players to fight for that position.
But then look at it now. You look at the Chelsea setup. You have too many players playing in the same different position, and not all of them are quality players. So there is still a downsizing work coming to Chelsea. It's just a matter of the downsized people that are going to be exiting. You make sure that you have the right minds, the right people in places before you downsize, because we were just talking about it in the previous podcast that you have too many players who are playing from the wing, too many competition for those places, and at a certain point in time, you need to downsize at least 2 or 3 in a position.
Modric got an assist in that game. What do you make of his performance in this game? Do you think that game he improved, but he played the whole 90 minutes? And Maresca have been talking about him. Everybody in Chelsea, especially in Chelsea, at Chelsea, is hoping that he fulfills the potential, because everybody can see it, even though I don't see it, even though I've watched some of it.
I've seen it.
I watched some of it. I didn't follow
his highlights. People saw that he used to go and buy the guy. Simple, his highlights.
From his first season,
and we've not seen that highlights.
See, it's not about the highlights he did, because I think his team then his Ukrainian team played in the
Champions League.
They played in the Champions League.
I think they played Real Madrid. He was man of the match. Yes.
You saw him beat 2 or 3 players.
No, he's a good player.
He's a good player there. Even if I'm not gonna lie, now nobody watch Ukrainian league. For Nigeria, we know they watch out. But we see the highlights, because people did the way they watch, where they export, where they sell to us. But we also see these players in the Champions League.
Yes.
Who know David Jonathan? Nobody know.
I know Jonathan David.
They watch League
On. Yes.
You cannot compare Leon
and Ukrainian League. Yes.
See, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying the level of knowing this guy, you get, at the level of knowing Modric.
You know how many years where that guy don't play for me for
game
manager?
For game.
Person who I know passing.
If they play for game, if I carry players where they play for game, they go ask a question.
This Modric,
but
do you think that has a potential?
See,
actually,
the guy
in that potential.
See, you know, I said this before. I said
they give him number 10 shirts.
See, they just give. See, I said this before. I said
a number 10 hallowed shirt.
I don't talk this thing before. Say, if you want play defensive football, see where they play against you, they're good on the ball, and you want defend, play counter attack. You need some kind players. You get Modric now, one of those players. If Like if Chelsea is losing against Man City now, against Arsenal, and Arsenal has more of the ball, and you need to change the game somehow. You need someone to just pick up that pocket, that pass, and send the long ball. You don't need Kopama. You don't need what's it called? Nkunku. You need the Pedro Neto. You go do it. You go see up, you go throw pass. And you go still run, pursue the pass. And you need who you the pass for, we go pursue him. Now Modric, because of his pace. In Chelsea forward line now, I don't think anybody has pace than him. Even the Pedro that is, I think if I'm going to rate
Modric,
from my
Modric is faster.
if I rate from my own end, the fastest player in Chelsea right now, it's Modric, Pedro Neto, then any other person can come in. You get, but these two players stand out. Then maybe Reece James, because of as a defender, you won't put him there. So you're playing against a team. So everything, like I said, everything, no matter how you need depth in your team, you also need players that could bring a different dynamics.
Yeah, but then
the problem,
yes,
the
problem is that
it's showing results.
see, I want to tackle this thing very clearly. Let me just come now because this is what we saw when was it Newcastle now? Who did with the club dirty? Was it West Ham that did Newcastle dirty or Newcastle that did West Ham when they sold Andy Carroll to one direction? And then Andy Carroll went on to have a very horrible season and then he's playing, I think last I checked, he's playing somewhere in China or wherever right now. So for me now, you're talking about a player you need in a certain situation. But how many times do you play in that same situation? You have 80 matches in a calendar year. You need him for 20 or 15. And then you keep him on a fat salary for 8 years where you are suffering in the remaining games. The games where he's not useful is far more appeals the one that is useful.
You forget that in the Premier League, that's why you don't start players like let's drag it to their London rivals now. I said this before, you don't play all brains, all pace and no brains in a game when you're starting. You get, since you're holding on to the more of the ball, you don't play all pace and no brains. I said this before. I'm now the sentence I use replace. I don't know as I want to put them for other English.
The day one I go find on so I know say Martinelli brothers gonna get them.
Now you call the name, I don't call the name.
Just
I
know
call the name.
so that
See, I'm just saying these games now for Chelsea. If they play against a Newcastle side, you know say if you score Newcastle go use verse come outside, and you know say there's happy pack boss. You get. Then they play against Newcastle now, you can't early score like 2 goals. Newcastle can't use verse 70 minutes come outside so they want equalize. Who you define? You go find Modric. You go still do assist. You get. That was what they did against Wolf. That was what they did against what's it called? Brighton. Early kick. Brighton came out at them and wanted to equalize. And what happened? They hit on a quick succession.
Just hold on now, Chelsea fans. I want you guys to come closer. Come closer.
Mm-hmm. Let them come closer.
You are saying that the star man Chelsea signed that beating Arsenal to. The star man, the paciest player in Chelsea, should be reserved to a backup sub.
That's
so
what
you spend £60 million or more should be a backup sub.
For now, until he gets his flow. It's just like
how many years will it take him to get his flow?
Man,
how many do you think that
Poch, you know, Poch didn't really give him opportunity last season. This man,
because he wasn't performing.
This man,
he has to perform when they give you.
Now, let me not ask you. What do you think happened to Kelvin? Wasn't he given opportunities?
Kelvin who?
Calvin Phillips.
Okay.
What do you think happened to Donny van der Beek? We're not giving much opportunities. It's not about you performing. It's about that consistent time you give the player. You give me 10 minutes in 7 games.
I think when Modric came to Chelsea,
he was starting. Baba was flopping match after match after match. You have to take the guy's confidence by benching him now.
He wasn't flopping. He was creating chances. It's just like these players say they don't do train with hitting bar. You understand? Me, I know it's not funny now, but it's not making laugh. You know, if they train sometimes, they say hit the woodwork. Most times for training, just to see how precise your target hitting is. They'll tell you to hit the woodwork framework. Then every time you're training, you're hitting the woodwork. Every time you're training, you're hitting the woodwork. Then during match, the thing they confuse them.
So you're not saying that Modric has been programmed to hit the bar.
The woodwork. Now be the thing.
Okay.
So don't blame him. Don't blame him.
If you look at that game, Maresca is actually cooking with Chelsea. You could see what he's trying to bring with this Chelsea team. He stabled Leicester City when he coached them last season. They played good football, and I think they are told him to do the same thing with Leicester City at Chelsea, and he is building. He's working with his players in the Premier League. He's working with different players in the Conference League. Let's see what Chelsea is going to be doing throughout the Conference League. They won that game comfortably 4 goals to 2, and Maresca is truly cooking.